Hello students, welcome to the class of teacher Meenal Pereira. Today we are starting with lesson number 8, that is static electricity. And the topics that we are going to cover in this lesson are, we will be studying about electric charge, we will be studying about frictional electricity, we'll also study about atmospheric electric charge, and we will be studying about lightning conductor. So let's begin. Do you have observed of the instances given below? What is the cause of this effect? Now you must have seen some of these instances as shown in the diagram. A plastic comb or ruler rubbed on a dry hair attach pieces of paper. If we pass near a polyester curtain again and again, it gets attracted towards us. Then, if we rub a blanket with our hands and take it near a metal object, a spark is seen in the dark. Or when we rub a balloon on our hair and if we take the balloon close to our hair, we see that the hair are sticking to the balloon. Okay, so now what is the reason of all this? Okay, you must have seen or you must have come across many such instances. So what is the reason? And the cause of this effect is static electricity. Okay, so our main of this lesson or main that we are going to study in this lesson is about static electricity. Now, as you all know that all substances are made up of very tiny particles, very small particles which are also known as matter. All matter has electric charge. There are two types of charges, a positive charge and a negative charge. If you have an equal number of positive and negative charge, that is neutral. Okay, so there is no net charge on the object. So this way, electric charge is abundantly present or it is present in more quantities. It is always in hidden state. Okay, so suppose you all know that we have 10 fingers. Okay, one hand 5 fingers, next hand 5 fingers. So suppose my one hand 5 finger has positive charge and the other hand 5 fingers has negative charge. When both these charges are coming together, it is forming an equal number of positive and negative charges. So what is the result is ultimately it is becoming neutral. That is no net charge on the object. So though we have all the substances around us which has an electrical charge, these substances are neutral. And not only the matter, but electric charge is also stored in our bodies. But it is in a very small quantity and we do not observe or we do not experience it much. But if there are charges that are not balanced, then the object is said to be charged. Okay, so suppose in case I have only 4 fingers in one of my hand, then what will happen? One hand 5 finger with positive charge, but other hand only 4 finger with negative charge. So that means these charges are not balanced and then my hand will become charged. Now let's see how would two charged objects interact with each other. And to see this, we will just study one small demonstration. In the diagram here, you can see a glass rod and a silk cloth. And what is done is, one end of glass rod is rubbed against the silk cloth. And due to rubbing, what will happen? A small charge will transfer from one to the other object. And as a result, both this object will somewhat charge. As you can see in the diagram, children, here this is the glass rod. You can see the plus stands for a positive charge and the silk cloth minus charge stands for a negative charge. So glass rod becomes positive charge and silk cloth becomes negative charge. Now what I am doing is, this glass rod I am suspending freely in air with the help of a thread. Now what I am doing? I am charging another glass rod with the same manner. That means by rubbing it on a silk cloth. And I am bringing it near to my first glass rod. Now what do you see here? We see that the two rods push each other away. So that is shown in this diagram, that both these glass rods are pushing or moving away from each other. Okay, I am charging one glass rod and I am bringing another similar way charged glass rod to this object, and what I observe is the glass rods are repelling or moving away from each other. Now the same way, instead of a glass rod, I am taking a plastic rod or a plastic scale, and I am rubbing one end of it against a woolen cloth. See, in the previous experiment, I used silk cloth. Now here, plastic I am rubbing with woolen cloth. And when I am bringing that plastic rod near the glass rod, now what do you see here? You can see that both these are coming close to each other. That is, the rods are pulled towards each other. Here you can see the rods are moving away from each other, whereas you see here that the rods are coming closer or pulled towards each other. Okay, so what we can say from this experiment? Two rods carrying similar charge push each other away. See here, two rods, similar charge. Here positive, we say push away, which is also called as repulsion. Here also negative, negative, two similar charge, it is repulsion. Okay, and what is happening here? That when two rods are having opposite charges, they attracted towards each other or they pull towards each other. This is called as attraction. Okay, so same charges moving away from each other is repulsion, and the different charges coming close to each other is called as attraction. Okay, now see, this is called as electrostatic repulsion. You can see in the diagram that as these two charges are similar charges are coming close to each other, it is getting moving away from each other, that is a repulsion. And see here what you can see, negative and positive charge coming towards each other, it is attraction. Okay, so you can take both your hands, just take your hands close to each. This is electrostatic attraction. Now you take your hands away, move your hands away from each other, it is a repulsion. Okay, so I hope attraction and repulsion is clear to everyone. Now we will move further. Now let's see what is the origin of an electric charge. How exactly the origin or how exactly the electric charges develop. Now as we have already studied, all substances are made up of particles, and these particles are ultimately made up of very tiny atoms. Okay, so matter or substances, or this is made up of atom. Now about the structure of the atom we will study in detail in 8th standard. Now what you need to know is each atom contains a stationary positive charge. Stationary means not moving. See here, you can see that it has a stationary charge which is not moving and a moving negative charge. Can you see this atom, or can you see this particular charge that is taking or that is moving round and round? Okay, so that's a negative charge. Now this will remind you of a solar system. The sun is in the center and the planets are moving around the sun. A similar way, we have a positive charge that is stationary in the center and negative charge that is moving away. Now these two charges are perfectly balanced. So therefore the atom is electrically neutral. Okay, so one positive charge, one negative charge. So it is balanced. All objects are made up of atoms, which means that they are electrically neutral. Okay, then how do some object becomes electrically charged? What we have studied that all objects are made up of matter with similar or balanced charge, so they are neutral. Then let's study how they become electrically charged. Now, for some reason, the balance of electrically neutral atom gets disturbed. Like for example, when certain objects are rubbed against each other, the negative charge particles on one object go to the other object. Now look here carefully. I have two objects. One object is shown with yellow color. One object is shown with white color. I am rubbing these two objects. Now can you see this arrow, children? This means that what it is transferring? It is transferring some negative charge from the white ones to the yellow ones. So what happens is the object which they go becomes negatively charged due to excess of negative charge particle. Now see this yellow one. In this yellow one, how many positive charges are there? Only 1, 2, 3. How many negative charges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this became negatively charged. And see here how many positive charges are there? 1, 2, 3. And how many negative charge? Only 1. So now this white became positively charged. So this white gave its negative charge to the yellow one. Okay, so yellow one became negatively charged and the white one became positively charged. And suppose if it has equal number of charges, then what will happen? It will be electrically neutral. See here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So equal number of positive and negative charges, therefore it is electrically neutral. Okay, so by rubbing I am transferring some negative charge to this particular element or this particular atom. So it becomes negative charge, this becomes positive charge, and when this is balanced, it becomes neutral. Now let's try one experiment. As you can see here, I am taken some material, paper, polythene, nylon, cloth, and what I am going to do is I will be doing the same paper experiment. I will first take the objects without rubbing to the paper. I will check if these objects are attacking or sticking to the papers, and then I will rub these objects, and then again I will check, or I will take it near to the piece of the paper and I will record the observation. Okay, so here what I observe is some materials that I have taken is for rubbing polythene and cotton I will take. Okay, then balloon, ball pen refill, eraser and wooden ruler. This will attack or attract the white paper. Okay, therefore what I can say is all these objects are charged. Whereas steel spoon and copper spoon, it will not get attracted or it will not attract the piece of paper. So I will say that these objects are not charged, because what we have studied, only the charged object will attract the piece of paper. So balloon is getting charged, ball pen refill, eraser, after rubbing these two objects, it will, suppose I am rubbing the balloon on the polythene bag, it will get charged and it will attract the paper. Okay, but if I am taking a steel spoon and rubbing it, then it is not going to attract the paper. That means it is not charged. You can pause the video and write this in your textbook. Okay, so now what we can always remember from this is each atom is electrically neutral. It has equal amount of positive and negative charges. If for some reason the negative charge is decreased, the atom becomes positively charged. Okay, so it has equal number of positive and negative charge, but due to some reason, if these charges are not balanced, then the atom becomes positively charged. And do all objects get charged on rubbing? No. All objects does not get charged by rubbing. We saw in the previous experiment that only balloon, polythene bag, or your what you can say refill or eraser, only that became charged or positively charged or negatively charged. But steel spoon and copper spoon does not attract the paper. That means it is not charged by rubbing. Okay, so I hope it is clear to everyone. So in this video we studied about the introduction to static electricity. Okay, how the objects are getting charged. Okay, we have the matter that is neutral because the charges are balanced, and if the charges are not balanced, it becomes charge. Okay.